Hi, welcome to this SQL tutorial video, and today I'm going to talk about views. Now a view it's a SQL statement that is saved and can be ran over and over again. So you might have a piece of SQL that's relatively complicated, and you might then create a view which simply stores that SQL, and you can execute the view as you need to, and the view will run the SQL and provide the results. So the SQL is ran at runtime, it's ran when you execute it. So the results are live. The results returned are based on as if you'd ran the SQL yourself, but all you're doing is running the view. So I'm going to try and demonstrate the use of a view. And hopefully, and the limitations of what you can and can't do, and hopefully it'll give you an idea of whether you need to use views yourself. So on screen here I've got a piece of SQL that goes to a table called orders. So let's imagine I've got lots and lots of orders here, and actually all I want to see are the orders that have not been delivered. So I've got this column here that's got delivered, yes or no. So I will put a condition here to say where delivered equals 0. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm just looking at this single table, but what really you would do with a view is you would have multiple tables all joined with various conditions that make it worthwhile creating a view. So really, for what I've got here, it's a very simple view. It might not be a very good example, but it is just to demonstrate how we create views and use them. So I've got this here, select star from orders where delivered is 0. So it is showing me all of my outstanding orders, my undelivered orders. And maybe this bit of SQL here is used in various places in an application that I've written. So instead of having this SQL duplicated in various different places, I want to create a view that will return the results of this SQL. And nice and easy, to create a view, we simply say create view. And when you're naming a SQL object, it's quite handy to prefix it with the type of with kind of the type of object that it is. So in this case, I'm going to prefix it with VW, then I'm going to do an underscore, and I'm going to say outstanding orders. Then you put as, and that's it. When I run this, it's going to create me a view. So if I, on the left hand side, if I click on this little plus here, you see I've got no views in my view area here. Now when I run this, it's going to bring this message up to say I've run your SQL and it was successful. And now if I refresh my views list, you see I've now got a view in here called VW outstanding orders. Now that that's there, now that it's been created, I can use the view. So let me open up a new query window in my training database. The view right now, if I just do a select star from, if I do VW here, it doesn't offer me the view yet because I need to refresh my local cache, because I've just created this object. When you open up SQL, it puts names of objects in the cache. So I created the view since SQL's been open. So if I go to edit and I go to IntelliSense and I do refresh local cache, now if I start typing VW, it shows me my view. And in order to kind of use a view, you use it as a table. So I'll just do select star from my view, and it returns me this dataset, which is exactly the same dataset as the SQL in my view. what's good about this is that if this data changes and if suddenly some of these are delivered, so maybe I will I'll update orders and I will set delivered equals 1 where ID equals in. So I will mark these 4 orders as delivered. So right now, if I do a select star from my view, I'm getting 19 rows. So if I mark these 4 as delivered, I should get 15 rows. Yeah, because 4 of them have been delivered since I last ran this. So your view, when you do a select star against your view name, all you're doing is running this bit of SQL. And then the SQL, runs against your live database or whatever database, against the latest data set. So let's imagine I wanted to alter this. So let's imagine this is a much more complicated bit of SQL and I now want to tweak it. So I'm going to say and quantity is greater than 1. So I only want to see orders where the quantity is greater than 1 and it hasn't been delivered. So my SQL is fine. There's my result set 11. But I want to update my view to have this new condition. And with the way we do that is we don't want to use the create command because the view already exists. So we use the alter command. Alter view. If I execute that, I get a message saying it's been completed. And if now I now run this, it only shows me the orders where the quantity is greater than 1 and that hasn't been delivered. So you can change the logic in your view, and then next time you execute your view, that new logic will be run. So now I've got a view, I can add my own conditions here. So really, I don't want that condition. My view is all about orders that are outstanding that haven't been delivered. So really, I want my view to show me everything where the delivered is 0. And now I've got that, I can now start adding my own logic to this view. I can treat it like a table. So if I do where, I can reference columns in my view where quantity is greater than 1. And people ID is greater than 4. So I can start adding conditions to these. I can do order by, I can do sums, all of that sort of stuff. So I'll order by product ID. So this view returns data and you can then treat that view with these conditions. So when you're creating a view, it is simply a piece of SQL, albeit potentially a very complicated piece of SQL, but a single piece of SQL. You can't put logic in a view. You can't put if statements in a view. It's not what a view is about. A view just has a single piece of SQL, and then it executes that SQL. But when you are doing select from my view, you can then start adding your own conditions to that output, to the data that's coming from your view. So a view has its own limitations. It's a single piece of SQL. You can't add any sort of parameters or anything to it at this point. You're just writing SQL, a block of SQL. Then when you've got the results, when you do a select from my view, that's when you can start putting your conditions. That's the end of this video. I hope it was helpful. Any questions and queries, please drop me a comment. Any feedback's appreciated. Thanks a lot for your time. See you next time.